Mark Hanna smugly assumed that he could make the tariff the focus of the campaign, but Bryan was a dynamic character and forced the free trade issue into a back seat when he took the stump on behalf of free silver. Sweeping through 27 states and traveling 18,000 miles, he made nearly 600 speeches, 36 in one day, and even invaded the East, the enemy's country. However, Bryan's stance would soon backlash on him. He created a panic among Eastern conservatives that overnight their holdings would be worth only 50% of what they had been. They cried, "In God we trust, in Bryan we bust." One clergyman even said, "That platform was made in hell." Wide fear spread about Bryan and his silver lunacy, enabling the dollar Mark Hanna, now chairman of the Republican National Committee, to shine as a money raiser. He shook down the trusts and plutocrats and piled up enormous funds. Running with the slogan, "McKinley and the full dinner pail," McKinley and his leaders were able to mount an enormous war chest, amounting to $16 million. This compared to the $1 million the poorer Democrats had to offer. Bryan continued to run away with his civil right idea. However, this quickly became his downfall. Hanna used fear as a weapon. Republican businessmen, fearing their money would be lost because of their bonds would be worth half of what they were currently, ordered their workers that if Bryan had won, they would cut their wages. These were just some of the dirty tricks that were used in the campaign to stop Bryan and save America. Despite Bryan's efforts to depict Hanna as a ruthless business person and McKinley as just somebody who was in his pocket, McKinley triumphed. The Electoral College votes were 271 to 176, decisively in McKinley's favor. The populist vote was closer, however, McKinley still came out ahead. An eminently safe McKinley took the inaugural oath in 1897. Though a man of considerable ability, he was an ear-to-the-ground politician who seldom got far out of line with the majority opinion. His cautious, conservative nature caused him to shy away from the blaming banner of reform. Almost as soon as McKinley took office, the tariff issue, which had been second fiddle to the silver in the Battle of 96, quickly forced itself to the fore. In due course, the Dingley tariff bill was jammed through the House of 1897 under the pounding gravel of the rethroned Kaiser Reed. As a last resolution, the Gold Standard Act of 1900 passed over last-ditch civil rights opposition, provided that the paper currency was to be freely redeemed in gold. Electrifying discoveries of new gold deposits in Canada's fabled Klondike, as well as Alaska, Southern Africa, and Australia brought huge quantities of new gold onto the world markets. This moderate inflation enormously helped the United States. This would also prove to be a huge political victory for the Republican Party. This cartoon was drawn during the time of the Pullman strike. It shows a wealthy businessman crushing the poor workers between low wages and high rent. The businessman can be seen with a Loman logo on him. This cartoon is depicting the populist platform. The populists wanted to educate the people, which they believed will lead to their benefits. Agriculture has continued to be one of the best ways for Hoosiers to earn a living. Farming and rural life have remained dominant in shaping much of the social, cultural, and political features of Indiana's history, as well as providing the base for economic well-being. Even the products of field and farm remain much the same. Corn and hogs continue to receive the primary attention. Indiana has been ranked among the top 5 states producing these in the years 1850 to 1920. This boom in agriculture, while expected, was rapid. In 1850, 5 million acres of improved farmland were available. However, in 1900, more than 16 million acres had been expanded. The latest large tracts opened were the swamplands in northern Indiana, where 8,200 miles of tile and 17,500 miles of drainage ditches were in place by 1919. One of the predominant reasons for the Hoosiers' ability to rapidly agricult the land was James Oliver's childed iron plow. By 1880, Oliver's South Bend factory was the world's largest plow manufacturer. These plows replaced primitive farming methods that had been the pioneers' way of doing things. With this evolution in agriculture, farm families soon sought more. They didn't want to be as isolated as they had in the past. What they wanted were county road improvements for their farm wagons, for the rural free mail delivery, and later for their automobiles. By 1920, nearly half, 46% that is, of Indiana's farm families had an automobile, and often one of Henry Ford's Model Ts, and farmers eagerly installed telephone lines so that by 1920, 66% of Indiana farm homes had telephones. But all these areas were all personal. There was one area that was rapidly changing, more so than any other. That was the railroad. The railroads moved all across the country, and Indiana became the crossroads of that country. People looking to move to the west went through Indiana by means of the North Transcontinental Railroad. Texas shipped their cattle up to Chicago to be slaughtered. This route went through Indiana. Miss something? Or afraid you're going to pull an Adam Rhodey on the quiz? Don't worry, the videos are all online. Just search YouTube for The Brief American Pageant, Chapter 26. The videos are Part 1, 2, and 3.